everyone, let's begin our last module of the chapter, the three orders. In today's module, our focus would be on the political changes that were taking place in the 15th and 16th century Europe. In our earlier modules, we have basically studied from the coming up of feudalism and how it grew so strong, and later what were the various causes in the 14th century which further led the weakening of the feudal system in Europe. Now in this module we will see how a new political order is rising on the ruins of the feudalism. Developments in the political sphere go hand in hand with social processes. In the 15th and 16th century, European kings strengthened their military and financial power. The powerful new states they created were as significant for Europe as the economic changes that were occurring. Historians have therefore called these kings the new monarchs, which included Louis XI in France, Maximilian in Austria, Henry VII in England, and Isabella and Ferdinand in Spain. These were the absolute rulers. Absolutist ruler means the one which have all the powers and they basically don't share their power with other people. So they were the absolutist ruler. These rulers started the process of organizing standing armies, a permanent bureaucracy, and national taxation, and in Spain and Portugal there began a new process of the economic expansion in the other country as well. The most important reason for the triumph of this monarch was the social changes which had taken place in the 12th and the 13th century. These included the dissolution of the feudal system of lordship and vassalage, and the slow rate of economic growth had given the first opportunity to kings to increase their control over their powerful and not so powerful subjects. Rulers dispensed with the system of feudal levies for their armies and introduced professionally trained infantry equipped with guns and artillery directly under their control. So now they were basically not dependent on their vassals for the army, but now they were directly recruiting the army of their own, so that they were not required to share their land or their power with the other orders. But the resistance of aristocracy was also there, and it was crumbled in the face of the firepower of the kings. As the kings now have their own army, they were not dependent on nobles for their army, so they easily crushed the rebellions of the aristocrat. By increasing taxes, monarchs got enough revenues to support large armies and thus defended and expanded their frontiers and overcame internal resistance to royal authority. Centralization, however, did not occur without resistance from aristocracy. A common thread running through all the types of opposition to the monarch was the question of taxation. Lesser nobles, often members of local assemblies, resisted the royal taking up their powers. So there were various resistance in various parts of Europe, but these resistance were easily suppressed by the new powerful monarchs or the new powerful kings. The nobility managed to have a tactical shift in order to ensure their survival. From being opponents to the new regime, they quickly transformed themselves into loyalists. It is for this reason that royal absolutism has been called a modified form of feudalism. Precisely the same class of people who had been the rulers in feudal system, that is the lords, continued to dominate the political scene. They were given permanent positions in the administrative services, but the new regimes were different in some important ways as well. So we can see how the nobles who were earlier resisting, they also came on the side of the monarchs when they understood that their power was very less in front of them. So in this module we are basically not only focusing on the rise of the rulers, but how the entire society was changing with. Now the king was no longer at the apex of the pyramid where royalty had been a matter of personal dependence and trust. He was now at the center of an elaborate society, and a network of patron-client relationship was established. So earlier he was at the apex, that means at the highest position, and then he had the subordinates. Now he was at the center and the power was centered to him, not divided in the other orders. All the monarchs, weak or powerful, needed the cooperation of those who could command authority. Patronage became the means of ensuring such cooperation, and patronage could be given or obtained by means of money. Therefore, money became an important way in which non-aristocratic elements like merchants and bankers could gain access to the court. They lent money to the kings, who used to pay the wages of the soldiers from it. Rulers thus made space for non-feudal elements in the state system. So the fourth order, which we have studied in a previous module, which were the bankers and the merchants, they were basically not included in the social order, but now because of their increasing power and because they had a lot of money in their hands, they were welcomed by the king in their courts. So we can see how the entire order was actually changing from a feudal order which had the subordination and the distribution of power to a king who was the center of the authority. And therefore, these all political changes further led to various changes in the medieval society.